I thought my marriage was perfect until I saw my wife's secret texts. I love you too. Wasn't meant for me. The cruelest betrayals are the ones that shatter illusions you never knew you were living under. When you believe your marriage is solid, your spouse is faithful, and your life together is everything it appears to be, discovering evidence of systematic deception doesn't just break your heart. It forces you to question every moment, every conversation, and every expression of love that you thought was genuine. The phrase, "I love you too," becomes a weapon when you realize it was never meant for you. Modern relationships exist in two dimensions: the physical world where couples share daily routines, responsibilities, and public displays of affection, and the digital world where secret communications can create entirely separate emotional lives. When someone maintains intimate text conversations with another person while appearing to be a devoted spouse, they're essentially living a double life that can be more devastating to discover than traditional forms of infidelity because of how completely it undermines your perception of reality. I'm Jake, 31 years old, and I work as an architect for a design firm in Denver. My wife, Emma, and I have been married for 5 years, together for 7. She's 28 and works as a graphic designer for a marketing company. We own a beautiful 2-story house in a quiet neighborhood, have 2 rescue cats named Luna and Oliver, and what I genuinely believed was the kind of marriage that other couples envied. Emma and I had always prided ourselves on having excellent communication, shared values, and a relationship built on trust and mutual respect. We talked openly about everything, supported each other's career goals, and made decisions together about finances, future plans, and daily life. Friends often commented on how well-matched we seemed and how obvious it was that we genuinely enjoyed each other's company. Our relationship had all the hallmarks of a successful marriage. We still held hands during movies, texted each other funny memes throughout the day, planned weekend adventures together, and maintained physical and emotional intimacy that felt natural and fulfilling. I thought we were one of those lucky couples who had found their perfect match and built something lasting together. For the past few months, I had noticed that Emma seemed happier and more energetic than usual. She was more affectionate, more interested in trying new restaurants and activities, and generally seemed to be enjoying life more than ever. She'd always been a positive person, but there was an extra sparkle in her demeanor that I attributed to things going well at work and our recent decision to start trying for our first child. "You seem really happy lately," I'd mentioned to Emma a few weeks ago while we were cooking dinner together. "Work must be going really well." "Yeah, I love the creative projects I'm working on," she'd replied with a bright smile. "And I just feel like everything in our life is exactly where it should be right now." I'd felt the same way. Our marriage felt stronger than ever. Our financial situation was stable, and we were both excited about the possibility of starting a family. I thought Emma's increased happiness was a reflection of our shared contentment with the life we'd built together. Last Saturday morning, Emma was in the shower when her phone, which was charging on the nightstand, buzzed with an incoming text message. She'd left it face up, and the notification preview was clearly visible from where I was sitting on the bed folding laundry. The message was from someone named Ryan, with a contact photo I didn't recognize. The preview text read, "Good morning, beautiful. Can't wait to see you Monday." I stared at the notification, feeling a strange combination of confusion and immediate unease. Emma had never mentioned anyone named Ryan, and the tone of the message seemed inappropriately intimate for a work colleague or casual friend. The phrase "can't wait to see you," combined with beautiful, felt like language reserved for romantic relationships. When Emma came out of the bathroom, I decided to ask about the message directly rather than let my imagination create problems that might not exist. "Someone named Ryan texted you," I said casually. "He said he can't wait to see you Monday." Emma's reaction was instant and unmistakable. Her face went pale. She quickly grabbed her phone, and her whole body language shifted from relaxed morning routine to obvious panic. "Ryan is just someone from work," she said, but her voice sounded strained and unconvincing. "We're collaborating on a big project that starts Monday." The message seemed pretty personal for work collaboration, I said, still trying to keep my tone neutral despite the growing knot in my stomach. "He's just friendly," Emma replied. She wouldn't make eye contact and was clearly uncomfortable with the conversation. Some people are more casual in their communication style. The rest of Saturday felt different. Emma seemed distracted and kept checking her phone more frequently than usual. When it buzzed with messages, she would quickly silence it and move the screen away from my view. The easy, comfortable atmosphere that had characterized our weekend routine was replaced by an underlying tension that neither of us acknowledged directly. Sunday evening, while Emma was at yoga class, I made a decision that I knew violated her privacy but felt necessary given my growing suspicions about her behavior. behavior. I knew her phone passcode because we'd always been transparent about our devices, so neither of us had ever felt the need to check the other's personal messages before. I opened Emma's phone and navigated to her text messages. What I found completely destroyed my understanding of our marriage and my wife. The message thread with Ryan contained months of intimate communications that revealed a full-scale emotional and physical affair. The messages showed that Emma had been meeting this person regularly, expressing deep feelings for him, and conducting a comprehensive relationship that had become the primary focus of her emotional life. I can't stop thinking about Thursday afternoon, read one message from Ryan. Being with you feels more real than anything else in my world. Emma's response was devastating. I know exactly what you mean. When I'm with you, I feel like the person I was always meant to be. I love you. I love you too, Ryan had replied. As I scrolled through weeks of messages, I found detailed planning for their secret meetings, expressions of love and desire, intimate photos they'd exchanged, and conversations about their frustrations with having to keep their relationship hidden. They'd been meeting during Emma's lunch breaks, after work, and during times when she told me she was at yoga, shopping, or meeting girlfriends. Jake suspects something. Emma had written in a recent message. He asked about your text Saturday morning. We need to be more careful. Maybe it's time to stop hiding, Ryan had replied. I hate pretending you're not the most important person in my life. You deserve to be happy, and so do I. The messages revealed that their relationship had progressed far beyond casual meetings or emotional connection. They were discussing moving in together, had talked about Emma leaving our marriage, and were making long-term plans for a future that didn't include me. I've been thinking about what you said about us getting our own place. Emma had texted just 3 days ago. I think I'm ready to have that conversation with Jake soon. I'll support you whatever you decide, Ryan had responded. But I want you to know that I've never felt this way about anyone before. What we have is worth fighting for. The most devastating discovery was a message thread from the previous week where Emma had described our marriage in terms that completely contradicted everything I believed about our relationship. Jake is a good person, but our relationship feels like going through the motions, she'd written. We have a comfortable life together, but there's no passion, no excitement. Being with you reminds me what it feels like to be truly alive and desired. You deserve to feel that way every day, Ryan had replied. Not just when you're with me. I sat in our bedroom reading through months of intimate communications between my wife and another man, feeling like I was watching the destruction of my marriage unfold through text messages that had been happening parallel to our daily life together. Every expression of love, every romantic gesture, every moment of intimacy we'd shared during this period had been accompanied by Emma's secret relationship with someone else. When Emma returned from yoga, I was still sitting on our bed with her phone in my hands. She walked into the bedroom and immediately saw what I was holding. Jake, she said, dropping her yoga bag. What are you doing? Reading about your relationship with Ryan, I said, holding up the phone so she could see their conversation displayed on the screen. Emma sat down heavily in the chair by our dresser, put her face in her hands, and began crying. For several minutes, neither of us spoke. How long? I finally asked. For months, Emma whispered. It started when he joined my company as a freelance designer. We were assigned to work on a campaign together, and we just connected in ways I hadn't expected. Connected? I repeated. Emma, you've been telling this person you love them and discussing leaving our marriage. You've been meeting them at hotels and lying to me about where you were. This isn't a connection. This is a complete relationship that you've been hiding while pretending our marriage was perfect. The conversation that followed was the most painful of my life. Emma admitted that she'd been feeling disconnected from our marriage for over a year before meeting Ryan. But instead of discussing these feelings with me or suggesting counseling, she'd allowed herself to develop feelings for someone else and had acted on those feelings without any consideration for our marriage vows or my emotional well-being. I didn't plan for it to happen, she said through tears. But Ryan makes me feel passionate and excited in ways that I'd forgotten were possible. Being with him feels like discovering a part of myself that had been dormant. But you told me just last week that you felt like everything in our life was exactly where it should be, I said. You've been acting happier and more affectionate than ever. How can you say you've been feeling disconnected when you've been more loving toward me during the same period you've been having an affair? Emma struggled to answer that question coherently. She eventually admitted that her increased affection toward me had been partly motivated by guilt about her relationship with Ryan and partly because her affair was making her feel more confident and energetic in general. I felt bad about what I was doing, she said. So I was trying to be a better wife to you. And being with Ryan was making me feel more attractive and alive, which probably made me more affectionate with you too. The realization that Emma's increased love and attention toward me had been a byproduct of her guilt about betraying me was almost more painful than discovering the affair itself. The happiness and contentment I'd been feeling about our marriage had been based on behavior that was actually motivated by her relationship with someone else. When I asked Emma whether she wanted to try to save our marriage or pursue her relationship with Ryan, she initially claimed she wanted to end the affair and work on rebuilding our relationship. But the text messages I'd read showed that she'd already already committed emotionally to a future with Ryan and had been planning to leave our marriage. You wrote to him that you were ready to have a conversation with me about leaving. I pointed out, you've been discussing getting a place together and building a life with him. Those aren't the actions of someone who's conflicted about what they want. Over the following days, I reread portions of Emma's text conversations with Ryan, and each reading revealed new details that made their betrayal more painful. They'd been intimate in our house when I was at work, had discussed private details of our marriage and my personal shortcomings, and had been making financial plans for their future together while I was contributing to our joint savings account, thinking we were building towards shared goals. Does he know about us? Ryan had asked in one message. He has no idea, Emma had replied. He thinks our marriage is perfect and that I'm completely happy. Sometimes I feel bad about how oblivious he is, but it's easier than dealing with the complications of telling him the truth. The casual way Emma had discussed my ignorance of their relationship, combined with her acknowledgement that she felt bad but found deception easier than honesty, showed me that she'd made calculated decisions to betray me while maintaining the pretense of being a loving, committed wife. We attempted marriage counseling, but the sessions revealed that Emma's affair had been facilitated by her fundamental dissatisfaction with what she perceived as the predictable nature of our relationship. She'd sought excitement and validation through a secret relationship instead of working with me to address her concerns about our marriage. I felt like we'd become comfortable but not passionate, Emma said during counseling. Meeting Ryan reminded me how it feels to have someone be genuinely excited about spending time with me and learning about who I am. The counselor helped us understand that long-term relationships require ongoing effort to maintain excitement and connection, but that conducting a secret affair while remaining married represents a fundamental breach of trust that's extremely difficult to repair. Despite weeks of counseling sessions, I couldn't rebuild faith in someone who'd been systematically deceiving me while conducting an intimate relationship with another person for months. The text messages had shown not just the affair itself, but Emma's willingness to lie about her activities, share private details of our marriage with her lover, and plan a future that excluded me while maintaining daily pretense of commitment to our relationship. We separated 2 months later. Emma moved out and, according to mutual friends, moved in with Ryan shortly afterward. Our divorce was finalized 4 months later. The experience taught me that the most devastating betrayals are often hidden behind the most convincing performances of love and commitment. Emma's increased affection and happiness during her affair had actually made me feel more secure in our marriage, when in reality, it was evidence that she was getting her primary emotional and physical fulfillment from someone else. Looking back, I realized that Emma's behavior during her affair, the secretiveness with her phone, the extra energy and happiness, the increased but guilt-motivated affection toward me, were all signs that something significant was happening in her life that didn't involve our marriage. But because the signs weren't typically negative, I interpreted them as evidence that our relationship was stronger than ever. I'm in a relationship now with someone who values transparency in communication and doesn't treat her phone like a classified document. We've discussed the importance of addressing relationship concerns directly rather than seeking fulfillment outside our partnership, and we've established agreements about maintaining appropriate boundaries with colleagues and friends. The most important lesson I learned is that modern technology makes it possible for people to conduct comprehensive emotional and physical relationships while maintaining the appearance of being devoted spouses. Text messages, social media, and digital communication create opportunities for intimacy and connection that can be completely hidden from a partner who trusts them. That Saturday morning, when I saw Ryan's "Good morning, beautiful" message, taught me that sometimes the most devastating discoveries happen through the most ordinary circumstances. I hadn't been trying to spy on Emma or catch her in deception. I'd simply noticed a text notification and asked a casual question that revealed months of systematic betrayal hidden in her phone. The secret text showed me that Emma had been sharing her deepest feelings, her physical intimacy, and her future plans with someone else, while allowing me to believe that I was her primary emotional connection. The phrase, "I love you too," that I'd heard from her countless times during our marriage had become meaningless because she was saying the same words to someone else with apparently more genuine feeling than she'd felt for me in over a year. Our perfect marriage had been perfect only from my perspective, because I'd been unaware that Emma was getting her real emotional fulfillment from a relationship I didn't know existed.